Okay.
If that's okay.
I thought I sent you page 3 though. You didn't get page 3?
I do. I have 2 and 3.
You have a lot of pages. I didn't download them.
Okay. I
If,
hope I sent you the right one. So this is page 3. Do you have this page?
no,
Check the emails. I have like 5 pages she sent to me.
you only have 3.
Okay,
That's weird. I hope it's on there.
I'm checking. Oh my.
But
Yeah, I only have week 1, day 4, and week 1, day 3.
No, we have more.
And then I have the story.
okay. The story is for later, but you do have day 3?
Yeah, day 3.
Okay, good. Perfect. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is read the sentence. It says read it up here. And so I'll read it for today. It says, did you ever hear the story of the 3 poor soldiers? That's the sentence. And then underneath where it says read it, it says one vocabulary. That means there's one vocabulary word in the sentence. And the way to know which one it is, it's bold or dark. Okay. The word poor right here. See how it's darker than the other words? That's because it's the vocabulary word. Does anybody know what poor, P-O-O-R, means? Poor soldiers? London, what is poor?
Like they don't have like any money.
Very good. They don't have any money or they don't have very much money. That's right. So P-O-O-R means without very much money. So now that we know what that word is, I'm going to have you put a check mark up here by the word vocabulary because we're going to check things as we go. That reminds us we already did it. Okay. So we're done with that. Now we're going to move over to market. And it says 2 nouns underneath that. So in this sentence, there are 2 nouns. Does anybody know where the nouns are in that sentence? If you know, you can raise your hand in the camera. Or you can tell me one of the nouns. If you see a noun in that sentence, remember those are person, place, or thing. Okay, Malia, do you see one?
I see. Is soldiers?
Yes, good. So we're going to put an N like that on top of soldiers. Because you're right, those are people. And that is a noun. Okay. There's one more on here. Does anybody see the other one? Gino, do you see it?
Story?
Story. Good. And a story is a thing. That's usually on paper is a story, but that's a thing. Okay. So those are the 2 nouns. You're just going to put an N above story and soldiers. And then we're going to put a check mark by nouns. Whoops. There we go. I always put a piece of plastic over my page so that I can wipe it off and I can use it again. That's why sometimes it moves around. So we're done with market. This is going to be an easy page. Now we're going to move over here to fix it. And we have a little list of things to fix. And the first one says 1 capital. So we are missing a capital letter in this sentence. And Sydney, do you know what letter, what word we should capitalize in this sentence? Which one? Go ahead and unmute and tell us what is the word we need to capitalize?
Did.
Right. And that's because it's the first word, right? So underneath that D, I want you to put 3 lines. That tells us you need to make sure to capitalize that letter. And then put a check mark by 1 capital. And then Abby, we have an end mark here. We need to put in, what kind of a mark do we put at the end of this sentence?
A question mark.
Good. I'm glad you caught that. It's a question mark because it starts with did. Did you ever hear the story of the 3 poor soldiers? So you're right. It's a question. So normally I have you do this part later, but for today, since this is your first page, I'm going to have you rewrite it at the bottom, but notice something right here. Do you see the space before did? That's the indent. Okay, so it's moved over. So I want you to do a 2-finger space to start with. And then you're going to write your capital D for did. And then you're in your nice handwriting, take your time and copy that sentence in a nice handwriting, okay? Don't forget your question mark at the end too. And I forgot to put a check mark by end mark at the top there. So make sure we check that off too. That means everything's done. Once you get that sentence written down, give me a thumbs up. Oops, I forgot the word poor. Uh-oh, I'm gonna have to erase that. Poor soldiers. There we go. Sydney, it might be easier if you just copy it from your own paper there, then you don't have to look up at the computer. Got it, Abby? Okay, good. Nice. Good, Gino. Oh, you did it on the iPad. That's good. That worked.
Yeah, I could do it on my mom's iPad.
Hopefully your book comes in this week and then you'll have it for next.
Yeah, I wanted to come in so bad.
I know. Well, you're not the only one. In my other classes, a lot of my kids don't have it yet. I see that, Malia. Thank you. When you're done writing it, give me a thumbs up. I saw a couple of you already. Okay, good. Thank you, Sydney. So if you're still working on the sentence, go ahead and finish up your sentence. And then the homework for grammar this week is going to be the next 3 pages. So this was page 3. So your homework will be pages 4, 5, and 6. Those are days 2, 3, and 4. You'll see that at the top. And I'm going to put this assignment in your Google Classroom. Okay, that's how you know what your homework is. I'll put it there. But you're going to do the next 3 pages before class next week. These are pretty easy. You just follow the steps at the very top here. You're going to read it, look for the vocabulary, look for the under market, and then fix it, okay? This week, you're only focusing on nouns. Gino, did you have a question?
What about Friday?
Yeah, so Friday, you don't have to do a page. So that's a good question though, Gino, because you can do all 3 pages on the same day if you want to. You don't have to spread it out. But if you like to do a page a day, that's okay with me too. It's up to your mom or whoever does your teaching at home. However they want you to do it. You can do your grammar work in one day or you can spread it out. Does that make sense to you guys? Okay. So Megan, if you're not done yet, you can finish it later. Or did you finish? You got it? Okay, perfect. Good. So that's it for grammar for today. So you can close up your book and put it aside. And now I want you to get your binder out. This one. We're going to take it pretty slow because I know this is new to you. And give me a thumbs up if you have your papers inside your binder. You have them in the rings. Good. I see that, Sydney. If you put them inside there, I see yours, Abby. Yours is in the rings. Good, Megan. London, do you have your papers inside the rings in your binder? Or do you have your binder yet? Don't take anything out yet. I just want to make sure you have it. We're going to do this pretty slow. I know, Gino, you don't have yours, but hopefully your mom printed these pages for you. So you should have this one at the beginning of the rings, right? Right when you open your binder, it should look like this, right? And then we put these pages in next. Is that how yours is too? These pages like table of contents and stuff like that. I want you to go all the way to that first tab. See what it says right here? Source text. Give me a thumbs up if you see that tab. Source texts. Now, using a binder is a little tricky. I see that, Malia. Thank you. And I'm going to teach you how to stay organized, but it's going to take a little practice. Once you see that tab called source text, when you turn it, do you see this page that says week 1 and it says the dog and the shadow? If you see that page, give me a thumbs up in the camera. Okay, Abby, I see yours. Good. Megan, I see your thumb. Sydney, do you see that page? Okay, good. London, do you see that page in your binder?
The books are like in my binder, and I don't see that page in here.
Okay, so you have your papers in the rings already too?
I don't know.
Wait, hold up what you had just now in your hand. Let me see what you have in your hand there.
This, but it's like the book, and then this is the binder.
And what's inside the binder?
It's just this.
Hold on, let me take this off so I can see that better. Oh, okay, so hold up the book again.
That's the book, and this is the binder.
Oh, that's okay. What does page 9 look like in the book? Maybe it's in there. I wonder if your mom got an older version of the binder. It might be an older version of it. Because it's supposed to be papers inside. London, did you find this page?
It says page 9 in the top corner.
Okay. Can you turn the page after that? Does it show a dog picture? Okay. Oh, I think that's that looks like the teacher's book. See if go ask your mom. Oh, yes, that's what you need right there. Yeah. So when you open that, be really careful because you don't want to drop those pages.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. When you open it, you're going to let me show you. You're going to put this first page. I see that, London. That was good. The first 9 pages or the first 8 pages, basically, like this, all the way to page 8, goes in front of source text tab. And then all the other pages go after that. Does that make sense?
So which one goes in front of?
This is in the very front. Your mom might help you if she's available. She might be able to help you with this because it's a little.
Yeah, let me go get her real quick.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. How about everybody else? Do you see where it says week 1 here? You guys have that? Okay. Yes, I see that, Megan. So what you're going to do, the rest of you, is carefully open up the rings. Make sure your binder is laying flat. and you're gonna pull, see these little tabs on the end and the top and the bottom? You're gonna push these apart so they pop open. I don't want you to grab the rings because they might bend and then it doesn't work right. So open those rings and then you're gonna get out week 1. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay, you just
4 pages. And when you see week 2, don't take that one out, okay? Take out just week 1, 4 pages. So,
Okay.
it's
So
Melinda. So Melinda, I was trying to help her organize her binder, but I didn't want her to drop anything. So basically, by the way, the rest of the class, after you take out week 1, close those rings up, okay? Make sure you close the rings back. So Melinda, we had this page through page 8,
Okay.
the front. So all the way to page 8, and then the source text tab goes next.
Okay.
And then all the other pages go behind that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So yeah, the front cover through page 8 goes in the very front, and then the source text tab, and then all the pages go behind that. And then we'll organize it as we go, but that's all she needs to do for today. And then we took out week 1. That's what we're going to work on today too. Organizing the binder is kind of tricky for this class, but for my year 1 class, but once they get into it, usually by Christmas time, they're pretty good at doing it by themselves, but sometimes it's hard. Gino, did you have a question for me?
How would I submit? Where do I submit my homework?
We'll talk about that at the end of class, but you're going to submit it on Google Classroom.
Okay.
Okay, Malia, you have week 1 out?
yeah.
Good.
Wait. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Okay. Everybody else, did you remember to close your rings and close your binder? Okay, Megan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Do you miss these 4 papers?
Yeah, so look at the
Okay.
pages at the bottom. One of them should have a 9, and then 11,
Okay.
and then 13, and then 15. So those are the 4 pages. One of them is yellow. 3 of them are white. Okay, good.
Okay.
You got it. Okay.
What?
You okay, Malia?
Yeah.
Okay. The other thing you need to get out is a lined piece of paper, just one. One lined piece of paper. Okay, so we need to have week 1 and one lined piece of paper and either, well, I do want you to have a pencil to start. So go ahead and get a pencil out too. You should already have one out from grammar. Okay. So each week we work on our binder. Sometimes we take a couple weeks to finish one of the lessons, but and you'll see going back to this page, this is page 9, and you'll see at the top week 1, and it says the dog and the shadow, and then it has this here, giant, and this word is saguaro. And maybe you've never heard of that word before, but we're going to learn what that means. Saguaro. This page is a lesson plan. This would be what your mom uses if she was teaching you at home. But since I'm teaching you this class, you don't need this page. So what I want you to just put it at the back of your stack right here. So you can put it behind everything like that, okay? We don't really need page 9, but we want to keep it together just because it's part of the binder. This is page 11. So we're going to look at this page next, okay? Page 11, the dog and the shadow. Thumbs up if you have this page in front of you. Good, I see that. Good, good. London, do you have this one? Okay, good. So it says the dog in the shadow, and then right underneath that at the top, it says attributed to Aesop. That means it's a fable. Have you ever heard of Aesop's fables before? That's okay. Oh, Abby has. Good. Okay. So Aesop fables are made up stories. They usually have animals in them. And the stories always have a lesson that you can learn. Like, have you ever heard of the tortoise and the hare? You ever heard that story before? Yeah, tortoise and the hare. Remember there, I see your hand, Abby. So they're in a race. Or do you have something to say, Abby? Okay. So they're in a race, remember? And the rabbit or the hare, the rabbit, is kind of like cocky. He's like, I'm going to win this race. I'm so much faster than you. There's no way you're going to win this race. And if maybe you know the story, they run. And of course, the turtle's going really slow, but he doesn't ever stop. And then the rabbit thinks, well, I can take a nap. I'm tired. And then he ends up taking a nap, but the turtle keeps going, right? The tortoise keeps going. And eventually, the tortoise actually wins the race because the rabbit got lazy. So there's always a lesson you can learn with these fables. So this is a made up story about a dog. It's not a real story, it's a pretend story. But you're going to learn a lesson from the story. We're going to learn something. So here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to go ahead and read it. You look on your page in front of you while I read it. Okay, then we're going to talk about it. But I want you to be thinking of what lesson can we learn from this story? It says, a lucky dog had found a big fresh bone and was carrying it home to enjoy. On his way, he had to cross a low bridge over a calm stream. As he crossed, he looked down and saw his own reflection in the water beneath. I'm going to pause there for a second. When I hear that word reflection, it makes me think of a mirror. When you look in the bathroom mirror, you see yourself, right? If you're fixing your hair or you're brushing your teeth, you can see yourself in the mirror. That's what a reflection is. So he's looking down in the water. And if you look carefully at this picture at the very bottom, you can see his little face and his tongue hanging out. It's upside down. You guys see that there? That's what he sees. He sees himself. And maybe you've seen that before at a swimming pool, before anybody gets in the water and the water is really still. Have you ever looked down and you can see yourself in the water? Has that ever happened to you guys? Give me a thumbs up if you've seen that before. Okay. If the water is like super still, if it's got waves in it, you can't really see yourself. This has a little bit of waves, but it's really pretty still right here. Okay, so he sees himself basically. Okay, so thinking it was another dog with another bone, he wanted to have that also. So he growled and snapped at the other dog in the water. But as he opened his mouth, the bone fell out. It dropped into the stream and was gone forever. And if you look carefully, you can see the bone right here. And he dropped it because he was growling. And he opened his mouth at the other dog, but it really wasn't another dog. It was himself, right? He thought it was another dog. So what do you think? What is the lesson we can learn from that little story? Anybody have any ideas? So we have this dog. He found a bone. He's loving his bone. He's all excited about his bone and he's going home with his bone. And then he crosses this bridge and he sees himself, but he doesn't realize it's himself. And then he sees himself with a bone. He thinks it's another dog. And then he gets kind of jealous, right? He wants that bone too. And when he opens his mouth, he loses his bone forever. So Gino, what could we learn from this lesson? Or what could we learn from that paragraph?
Don't be greedy.
Yes, don't be greedy. That's a good lesson. If you have a bone, you see somebody else with a bone, if you're a dog, be happy with the bone you have. You don't need another bone. Let the other dog have the other bone, even though it was his own reflection. But what happened was he lost it. After all that, his bone was gone. He didn't even get to keep the bone that he had. So don't be greedy. Don't wish you had something somebody else has. Be thankful for what you have. That's the lesson. Okay. All right. So we read the story. We learned the little lesson. And now what we're going to do is on the lined paper, we're going to get ready to do an outline together. So let's get your lined paper ready. At the very top line next to the red line, I'm just going to draw a line like that, but I want you to put your name here. So next to the red line at the very top, put your first and last name. Go ahead and you write your name. I'm just drawing a line to show you where it goes. Put your first and last name, and then the line right underneath that, I want you to put a 9, 11, 24. That's the date. So we're in the 9th month, which is September, the 11th day, 24. This is how I like to write my date. You can use dashes if you rather, or you can spell out September. It doesn't matter. I just want the date here. And that's what we do every time. I want you to put your name and the date always on the upper left-hand side of the paper. Just like that. And then you're going to skip a line. So that means the space right underneath the date here, leave that one blank and go down one more. And kind of toward the middle, it does not have to be perfect. You're going to write the dog and the shadow somewhere in the middle. And it does not have to be perfect, so don't worry about it. If you don't get it exactly in the middle, that's okay. Try to skip a line, the dog and the shadow. And notice and the don't have a capital. The first the does, the and dog does, and shadow does. But in the middle and the do not. So try to copy it like that, just like it is on your paper. Once you get that, give me a thumbs up so I know you're ready. Thank you, Gino. Thank you, London. Sydney, you got it? Okay, good. I see that, Abby. Okay, Malia, did you get it? Okay, good. And Megan, are you good? Okay, keep working on it, Megan. I'll leave it here so you can see it. Right underneath that, I want you to put a capital K and put key, and then a capital W for word, and then a capital O for outline. I want you to put key, word, outline right underneath the dog and the shadow. Key, word, outline. And the K is capital, the W is capital, and the O is capital. I'm going to leave this here, so keep working on it if you're working on it. I want you to then, under that, I want you to skip a line. So we're going to leave this one blank under that. And then I want you next to that red line here on the left, you're going to put a 1 and a dot, a 2, all the way to 6. Like that, 1 through 6. Once you got that done, give me a thumbs up so I know you're done there. Good, thank you. Good, thank you, London. So we have the dog and the shadow, keyword outline, and 1 through 6. Good, I see that. If you're still writing, that's okay, keep going. I'm gonna just talk while you're writing, that's okay, I see that, Megan, good. So an outline means when you only use a few words, like not very many words, to almost like taking notes. Okay, that's what an outline is. It's not all the words because we already have all the words on a story, but this would be like just taking notes on the story. And then I see the words keyword. A keyword is a really, really important word in the sentence. So what we're going to do next, and I'm going to show you how to do this, we're going to look at each sentence in the story, The Dog in the Shadow, and we're going to try to decide what words in the sentence are key. So, by the way, there are only 6 sentences in the story. So that's why we have 1 through 6. So now I'm just going to move this down a little bit. And I'm going to look back on the story. And I'm going to look at the very first sentence only. It says, a lucky dog had found a big fresh bone and was carrying it home to enjoy. All right, the first thing I want to do now, I'm going to look for key words. I know the word a is not a keyword, right? Because it's a little word and it's not going to help me remember the sentence. By the way, keywords are going to help you remember that sentence. Well, I know the word dog is important. Go ahead and underline that word dog because that's the subject of the sentence. That's what we're talking about. So that's an important word. Lucky, before that, lucky dog. That's a pretty good, that's a keyword. He's a lucky dog. So let's underline lucky too. So we have lucky and dog. I don't need to underline had. That's not a key word. But I do want to underline found. That would help me remember the sentence found. And then I don't need to underline a, right? That's not a keyword. That's just a little word, a filler word. But then I see big, fresh bone. I'm going to underline bone. I know that's important to remember that sentence in that sentence. I'm not going to underline and or was. I do want to underline carrying because that's what he was doing with the bone. That's a keyword. Home is a keyword and enjoy is a keyword. Okay, so we underlined a bunch here. So check yours. Do you have lucky should be underlined, dog, found, bone, carrying, home, enjoy. Those are key words. I did not underline the littler words. I didn't underline big and fresh either because we're really talking mostly about the bone. So I chose not to underline those. So here's what we're going to do. We have to only pick 3. We can only pick 3 out of these. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words we underline, but we can only pick 3 that we really, really think are the most important words in the sentence. The most important words. Well, I already know we're talking about a dog because the name of the story is The Dog in the Shadow. So I know we're already talking about dog. So I'm not going to pick lucky or dog or found. I do like the word bone. I think that's super, super important to remember. So what I want you to do now is just circle bone. circle bone. That's a big part of the story. If we didn't know about the bone, the story wouldn't really make sense. So the bone is going to be really, really important to remember. That is a keyword. And the fact that he's going home with it, I want you to circle home here too. Because that tells us where he's going, where he's headed. And then I think he's happy about it because we have the word enjoy. So I want you to circle enjoy. So now we picked the best, the most important keywords out of all the keywords. We picked the most important ones. Bone, home, enjoy. So now I want you to copy those words next to number 1. This is for the first sentence. So copy the words bone, and then I want you to put a comma between these words. And then home, comma, enjoy. You're copying the words that you circled next to number 1. Bone, comma, home, comma, enjoy. So as you can see, each sentence will have some key words, probably a lot. But the tricky part is to pick only the 3 that you think are the best. You can only put 3 words next to each one of these numbers. We can't put 4 or 5 or 6. We can only, that's the rule, only 3. Only 3 words next to each one. Okay, so now that we got the first sentence done, let's look at the second sentence. Let me back this out a little bit here. The second sentence says, on his way, he had to cross a low bridge over a calm stream. Well, looking for keywords, I'm not going to underline any of the little words at the beginning, but cross, that's a keyword. Just, oops, hold on. Cross, bridge is a keyword. Calm and stream, those are good keywords. So underline cross, bridge, calm, stream. And what we're looking for is words to help us remember what that sentence is. Because what we're going to do is put away the original story in a minute and only look at the keywords and see if we can retell the story. So that's why I'm looking for the most important words in each sentence. But we underlined 4 words, 1, 2, 3, 4 in that sentence. But we can only have 3. Remember, that's the rule. So I think I'm going to pick, I'm not going to use cross because if I see the word bridge, I already know in my head that the dog is going to walk across the bridge. So I'm not going to use cross. I want to use bridge. Go ahead and circle bridge. And then I want to use calm. That's important to know. And stream. So circle bridge, calm, stream. This will make sense the more we do this. It might not make sense yet. That's okay. Don't worry about it. It will. That's the second sentence. So for number 2 on your outline right here, I want you to copy bridge, calm, and stream. Copy those 3 words for the second sentence. Bridge, calm, stream. Does anybody have any questions so far? If you don't have any questions, just shake your head no, and then I know you don't have any questions. Okay, good. Okay. Now we're going to go on to the third sentence. If you're still writing, that's okay. See the pattern now? Each of these is a sentence down here on your keyword outline. And we're going to look at each sentence. So now we're on sentence number 3, which is right here. As he crossed, he looked down and saw his own reflection in the water beneath. There's a lot of keywords in here again. We already know he crossed, so I'm not going to choose that one. He looked down. We can underline looked. That's a keyword. I think down is a keyword too. He looked down, right? So let's underline that one. We already know he's looking, so I'm not going to pick saw. But I like this word reflection. I'm going to underline the reflection. That's when he sees himself in the water beneath. Okay, so on that sentence, underline looked, down, reflection, water, beneath. I'm just picking out the main words or the key words in that sentence. But I underlined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's too many. I can only pick 3. So this is tricky, right? Which ones do we pick? Well, I think that word reflection is really important because that tells me he sees himself, a reflection. I'm going to for sure pick that one. So go ahead and circle reflection. It's a big word. And by the way, if you have a reflection, you already automatically know you're looking at it. So I'm not going to pick looked or down. I'm going to just pick reflection and then water and then beneath. Do you guys know what that word beneath means? Abby, what is beneath?
Go ahead, say.
Under.
Under, right. So he's looking down. The water's going under the bridge. Very good. So now we have our next 3 words for the third sentence. I want you to copy reflection, water, beneath. Next to number 3, go ahead and write those in. Reflection, you can copy it. Water and beneath. So number 3 has reflection, water, beneath. I'm going super slow in this lesson because this is really important for you to understand how to pick those key words. So give me a thumbs up when you're done writing reflection, water, beneath. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, I see that, Abby. Good, Sydney. Good, London. Okay, good. I see that. Okay, so we're going to stop there for today and we're going to finish this next week. I really want to make sure it's very clear how to do these outlines. So we're going to just stop there. So your homework is only your grammar pages. That's all you have to do for your homework this week. Okay? So you have 3 pages in grammar. It's going to be easy peasy cheesy. Just like we did at the beginning of class, you're going to do the same thing. Read the sentence and then go through each one of those things at the top. It'll say read it, mark it, fix it at the top. So do the 3 grammar pages and then you're going to upload it to Google Classroom. That's how you turn in your work. If you guys need help with how to upload it, have your mom call me and I can help, or your dad or whoever does your homework with you, and I can help you post that. So these papers, I want you to put in a big stack here, put them all together. And then I want you to keep these in the front pocket of your binder. So, you know, when you open your binder here, there's a little pocket on the inside. I want you to just stick everything in that front pocket right here. Let me show you what it looks like. See that? At the front of your binder, there's a little pocket there. You're going to put all those papers we just were working on together inside that pocket. It doesn't matter what order the pages are in right now. I just want to make sure they all get in that pocket, okay? And then close up your binder, keep all your stuff there next to you for next week, okay? Does anybody have any questions about the homework assignment this week? No? All you're going to do is those 3 pages in grammar. And then I'll see you next week on Wednesday. So good job, you guys. See you next